So you've got the new redesigned Toyota Prius. It's a great commuter vehicle, but can you use it for anything else? Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Hybrid Now. So the big question, you've got yourself a Toyota Prius, the new 2023 Prius, but what can you do with it? What is it good for? Is it really just a commuter vehicle? Now, first off, let me say, it is an awesome commuter vehicle. Now, commuting for me, that basically means driving to the gas station and back home because I work from home. However, I did spend many years driving back and forth to the brick and mortar, and I have to say the ride would have been a heck of a lot more fun if I had had this Toyota Prius for all of those years. Fuel economy, it's awesome. The other day I took about a 10-mile drive or something like that. It wasn't too far. And I was getting 57 miles per gallon. At least that's what the trip meter said when I got home. 57 miles per gallon. And you know, it's even possible if you work relatively close to where you live that you're never going to have to burn any gas. Of course, that can create a problem. If you've got a full tank of gas, you don't want to leave it just sitting there forever. So you might want to get on it a little bit here and there just to make sure the engine actually kicks on and uses up the gas sitting in your tank. But it's awesome for something like that. You know, when you're sitting in rush hour, I remember those days. The seats in this car are really comfortable. I wouldn't be sitting there, you know, kind of shuffling around, getting sore after a while. It's just simply awesome. Next up, what about hauling and stuff? I mean, I know this isn't a truck, right? You're not going to be putting 18 bags of mulch in the back, some 6-foot tall tree or anything like that. But there still is ample room inside this car to be able to haul stuff, normal stuff. Maybe you're a golfer. Put the seats down, you can throw 2, 3, maybe 4 sets of golf clubs back there. No problem. Hauling people, for short distances, it's not too bad. To be honest, it's a little cramped in the back, especially if you have passengers that are vertically gifted. I mean above about 5'9", maybe 6 foot, something like that. Starts to get a little tight back there, I'm sure. I can't relate because I'm not that tall. But I have sat in the back of the truck, or the car rather. I've even ridden in the back, and it is a little bit cramped. But for short distance trips, 30 minutes, maybe even up to an hour, you really shouldn't have any problem. And if you're putting little kids back there, no issues at all. As far as riding in the front, as I mentioned, for those nasty commuter trips, it is really comfortable. The seats are awesome. You can haul 2 fully grown adults up here, shouldn't have any issue. And speaking of comfort, we do have both heated and ventilated seats. I have to admit, it's been a long time since I had a vehicle that had ventilated seats, and living down here in South Texas where it gets really hot, they're pretty darn comfortable. Keeps you nice and cool while you're out cruising around in that beating sunshine. Now, what about longer distance trips? You know, I've been thinking about that myself. I'm going to be taking a long distance trip in a few months. It's quite a while, actually. And I go back and forth between taking my gas guzzling, very thirsty Toyota Tundra. It's getting about 14 to 18 miles per gallon. Kind of depends on where I'm driving, right? Or how I'm driving. Or taking this Toyota Prius. Only because I love driving this car and the seats are so comfortable. I can see sitting in this for multiple hours. This trip for me is going to be about probably around 26 hours, something like that. It will be split into 2 days, but nonetheless, you know, 13 hours per day or more to sit in the car is a lot of time. I don't think I'd hesitate to do that. Again, it depends on who you're hauling. If you've got a car full of adults, the Tundra probably would be the way to go because it's cavernous inside and people would be much more comfortable. Of course, it's going to cost me a lot more money to take the Tundra over the Prius because I wouldn't have to stop for gas very often. Although that could be a problem. It's nice to get out and stretch your legs. I'm not one to stop just to stop. What about the fun factor? you know, that's always a big consideration for me in any vehicle that I buy. You know, I always try to get vehicles that are fun to drive. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than getting a vehicle that you hate getting into. Not that way with this Toyota Prius. I always struggle in picking out which vehicle I want to drive. I'm spoiled, I know. I have 3 vehicles. I have 2 trucks, a Tacoma, the Tundra, and the Prius, and I love them all. So it's always a struggle for me when I look outside or look in the garage and try to figure out which one it is that I'm going to drive today. If I'm being honest, and it's a short trip, the Prius usually wins. Only because I feel somewhat more financially conscious when I'm driving the Prius because of that fuel economy. If I have to run to the Lowe's, for example, and I'm not picking up anything that's really long or dirty or something like that, I'll hop in the Prius, because frankly, the Lowe's is not too far from my house, and I can get there and get home without burning hardly any gas. And that's one thing I've noticed. When I first got this car, I used the gas pretty quickly, and I think that's because, one, it was new, probably wasn't running as efficiently as it is now, wasn't broken in yet. There is a break-in period. And secondly, because I was on the gas more, because it is just so fun to drive. It's quick, it accelerates fast, and I love getting on the gas. It is a good time. As far as the tech and all of that stuff in it, it's awesome too. I have navigation in this right now. Probably will let that discontinue once the free subscription runs out. Then I'll just hook my phone up to it via Bluetooth and use it for traveling relatively short distances. Could be an hour or 2, something like that. So, what is the main purpose of the Prius for me? Well, honestly, it's a commuter as far as running to the store and stuff, short little trips, maybe even out just joyriding, because it is so fun to drive. And honestly, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm out with you guys just taking a joyride. I don't have anywhere I need to be, anywhere I need to go, and nothing I need to pick out. We're just out driving and enjoying the car. It is awesome. Anyway, just wanted to get on here, kind of talk about that a little bit. If you're on the fence, maybe you're considering picking up a Toyota Prius. Best for a commuter, best for short trips, and even long distances if you're not hauling around 4 adults or even going somewhere by yourself. Leave a comment. If you've got the Prius, what are you using it for? Why did you buy it? I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.